And we are live on the gram. Apologies today if my internet is slow. The connection is slow. Maybe it's because I'm slow.
No.
Good morning, everybody. It is Social Surge with Fly and Mo. Regalado Real Estate's joining us over on the gram. Thanks for joining us, Gram fam. We appreciate you. Okay. Music. We've got to turn music down.
I gotta log in on the gram. There we are. I love it. Okay, we have a game to play. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Beer.
Business card. Wait, what did you say?
I said beer.
Beer. Okay. Okay. Beer and business card. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Networking.
We got it in 2. This is so fun. Okay, so this is a game. All right, so this is a game that I don't know if it originated there, but we found it. There's this great podcast that I had found on Instagram, and we've been seeing it. But Being Ian with Jordan, very cool podcast. But they do this kind of stuff. So it's, you have to say a word random, and then you have to find the connection between them. So we had beer, business card, Battlestar Galactica. No, networking. Do you want to go again?
Yeah, let's do it again. One more time.
Okay. Wait. Okay. All right. 1, 2, 3. Marquee
Apple.
sign. What did you say?
I said apple.
Apple. And apple and marquee sign. Why did I do that to us?
E sign. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Okay. Apple and marquee sign.
And we're supposed to find the connection between apple and marquee sign.
1, 2, 3.
Movie.
Mall. What did you say?
Movie
and mall. Okay.
Oh.
1, 2, 3.
Mallrats.
We might need to stop. We should have
just left it. The first one was perfect. Marquee sign.
I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. Good morning, everybody. It is Social Surge with Fly and Mo. If you're just joining in, we were playing a game that we saw on Instagram. You do 1, 2, 3, and then each of you says a number, and then by 3, right? It's like usually by 3, or no, sometimes it's longer. Then you get to the same word, and it's to help with connection. And the first one we did was perfect, so it was just
we'll clip that one and we'll erase the rest. We'll fix it in post. I'm suddenly very allergic to how unfunny I am.
So today we are talking about the key takeaways from the Sprout Social Report. So every year, Sprout Social will they will go over, like, I think it's like 30 million posts across a bunch of different industries, and they analyze it and they bring you all the data, all the stats, all the deets about what's happening on social. And what I love about the Sprout Social Report is that it does break it down into categories. And now the unfortunate side, so I specifically looked at the real estate portion of this report, which does not differentiate between real estate and commercial real estate. So some of it is not necessarily applicable. However, I do think it is. I do think you need to adjust your social based on what they're saying. So the key takeaways, one of the big one, is that audience behavior is shifting. It says that 86% of users will spend the same or more time on social media this year. But now here's the big but. They don't want more noise. They want connection, originality, and engagement. So we talk about this all the time, right? And we get questions a lot from a lot of brokers just like you who are tuning in. And it is, how often should I post? Where should I post? What should I be doing? Well, where you should post is super easy. What's a platform that you actually enjoy being on? You have to enjoy the platform. If you don't enjoy the platform, it's going to be such a heavy lift for you. Like, it's almost going to be like a mental overload. I don't post on TikTok. I actually don't. I have not spent a lot of time on TikTok in the last couple of months, which is weird. But I think it's
weird.
Yeah, I don't spend as much time on there. I think I'm so busy on X and on Instagram and on LinkedIn that I'm not spending as much time on that other platform. And surprisingly enough, also Facebook. Like I've been finding that I end up spending more time on Facebook Reels than any other like I will end up more. My behavior has shifted. So before, my husband and I, what the heck, would send TikToks to each other, right? Like recipes that we'd seen, stuff about AI, stuff about business. And now more so, I find myself doing that in Messenger versus, right? Like, so doing that there. So my behavior has shifted back to Facebook, which is, and it's not, I'm not engaging with like friends. I'm not really engaging with them. I'm using it as a method to scroll. Yes.
Well, this is also like, this is a topic of conversation that I have seen both in, some of the things that Sprout Social is talking about, but in other areas as well. That a part of the reason for that is that, again, and you already said it, is that people are craving more actual engagement, real connection with people, right? And so across platforms, you're seeing this more now where people aren't necessarily posting. They might post more in their stories because, again, that the stories have more immediacy and there's a little bit more intimacy there as well.
Right.
That like somebody is going directly to look at that as opposed to, I mean, like sometimes I scroll through too, but like as opposed to like seeing something come up in the feed.
Right.
But yeah, some people will be on these apps and not be active in the main space, but they're kind of like in that next layer, active in the messages. The messages.
Hey, I just have to do a shout out to Bubs Fire on IG. That is my bestie from high school.
Bubs Fire, what's up?
We actually only communicate via memes and reels on Instagram.
Huge. and this is a little bit of a sidebar, but again, it's like whatever. Yes, you need to think about what app you actually like to be on because engagement is going to be very hard for you if you don't like using it. And engagement is a really important piece. And then again, when you're thinking about like what app should I be on, like how should I be engaging in all this stuff, it's like you need to look at how the apps actually work, how people are actually using the apps. So if a lot of people are just sharing things and in messages and in stories, how does that, it's an interesting question for me, how does that influence the way that you make your content? How does that influence the way that you might package your content if you want something to be shareable? Because that's how people are using it. I'm getting into a little bit of an advanced side tangent. So go on.
No, I love that because that's absolute. Well, it's something that Adam Mosseri talks about a lot on Instagram when he does his videos. And it's more stuff is happening in DMs. So that shareable content, more stuff is happening in those conversations than actually on the feed. So that's a great question that you've posed. How do you create content that is shareable, right? How are you going to create that stuff that people are going to want to share in DMs, sending it to their friends? And maybe that's, you and I should like workshop that. And I can't believe that that just came out of my mouth. But definitely like how in commercial real estate, how are we going to create content that resonates, that creates engagement, and that is shareable, that people are going to want to watch, listen, read, whatever. So that's actually something really good you and I need to sit down and answer. So real estate content benchmarks. Again, reminder from Sprout Social, this is just real estate. It didn't break it down into different, aspects of real estate, but daily posts for most real estate, there's 10.5 daily posts. Like that's how much residential is posting, which is a lot. They get 20 daily inbound engagements, which to me is a lot. Outbound engagements are 1, and engagements per post about 6. So, when you're looking at these numbers, they're posting a lot, but they're not getting a lot of engagement. So what that means to me is that the content's not resonating, right? If your content is not getting engagement, and I'm not talking about LinkedIn. And I would like to actually say as well that Sprout Social did not put LinkedIn in there this year.
Bro.
Right. Which is a surprise because, and I went back to last year's report and I was like, did they have LinkedIn? They had LinkedIn in last year's report, but they didn't have it in this year's. They focused on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and X, which was, I was like, why wouldn't you include, I don't know why they didn't include LinkedIn. Maybe they're just not friends anymore. But if you are finding that, and again, LinkedIn aside, because we know the stat that 70% of all posts on LinkedIn never get any kind of engagement. If your content is not resonating, you really need to take a look at the fact that it is not resonating. That what is it about your content that's just not getting engagement? And posting more doesn't mean that you're going to get more engagement. I know that Alex Hormozi and Gary Vaynerchuk are posting, 25 billion times a day. Okay. To them, it's a numbers game at that point, right? But they also have marketing teams of up to 20 people that are creating content, that they have copywriters, they have content producers, they have video editors. It's a team. You are a team of you. And so I want to say, like, I know everybody wants to be the next Alex Hormozi. Everybody wants to be the next Gary Vaynerchuk. But if you are not 100% all, their business is content. Like
Yes.
let's think about that. Their business is content. Your business is brokering. Your business is selling buildings. Your business is leasing space. It's not content. So instead of trying to hold yourself up to this high standard of like, oh, well, I want to be the next Alex Hormozi. Like, no, why don't you be the next you and post, be the next you. Post consistently. Post consistently, right? So volume is not value. I guess is the best thing we could see.
Banger after banger line drops there. What is going on?
It's the early morning and I'm able to
I need more coffee if you're going to talk like that. I need something else.
So let's also talk about the fact that video, it is not optional anymore. Video is very necessary. Short form content is skyrocketing. And we have seen, you know what? They also didn't include YouTube on this report.
Sprout, we have questions.
Right. So short form video content, definitely. So thinking about your short form video content, we know that Reels are now 3 minutes. YouTube Shorts are now 3 minutes. So if you've been wondering where you should be focusing on content this year, definitely should be video. And what I love about video is you can set up your phone is absolutely perfect for doing video content. It's absolutely perfect. And there's a reason why. If you think about the technology that's in your phone, that is in your mini computer, right? Those cameras are amazing and the sound quality is really good. I do have a caveat with the sound quality. If you are outside and it's breezy, you need to get some sort of lavalier mic, lapel mic, something like that you can hook up to your phone so we can actually hear you clearly. And whoever's producing your videos will absolutely love you because then they won't have to fight trying to get that noise out. So if you've ever done any kind of audio production.
That was me. When I filmed a bunch of interviews at ICSC, and like one of them was in the Aria Sports Bar for the Let's Get Social networking happy hour. And when I processed that footage, I was like, oh my God, my mics were such trash. Hours cleaning it out. Couldn't even save it all.
Yeah, no, it's if you've ever done any kind of audio production where there's noise in the background, you can use Adobe Audition. There's other programs that you can use to help reduce the background noise. But when you start reducing background noise, you also start increasing the potential for your voice to sound like you're in a tin can.
Yeah.
Or underwater. So it gets muddy is the best description I can give for that. And so just make sure that if you're going to do video content, your phone is fine. Unless, you're whatever. You should have a good phone. And you can use that and you can create video content and then, talk for 8 minutes about what's happening in your market. Talk for 8 minutes about what you're seeing in industrial in Cincinnati. Talk about the industry that's moving in. Talk about the industry that's moving out. There's so many things that you can talk about on video about your specific niche, your specific specialization, what's happening in your market that nobody else has that information. You're like, oh, I don't like myself on camera. You think I like this on camera?
Eric's calling out your quote.
Banger.
Banger.
Be the next you. Yeah, you're not going to be the next Alex Hormozi. You're not going to be the next Gary Vaynerchuk, but you can be the next you. You can absolutely get people to like, know, and trust you by using social media. So next, video is not an option. You need to absolutely be doing video. Oh my goodness, we're getting people popping up. Dwayne, good morning.
I feel like there must be some kind of delay because we're having all these comments pop in.
There might be.
What is up, Carew?
Marcy Moneypenny's with us. Okay, so this is for real estate. So it's Sprout Social talking about real estate. 90% of residential uses Facebook, 86% uses Instagram, 30% uses TikTok, and 54% uses X. So what does this mean for you? There's still plenty of room on the platforms for you to create content, to you to be sharing your story, to provide value to your clients, to your potential prospects. And that's really what you should be looking at social as a way to, so trotting out Mr. Bob Knakal. Bob, we shared a video yesterday with Bob and Chad Griffiths talking about prospecting, right? And the whole thing and talking about cold calling and Bob's whole thing was, I share what's happening.
Yep.
When was the last time that you shared any content or value? Raphael, this is a great question. We were just talking about, if you're just joining us. So on this Sprout Social report, they didn't actually have LinkedIn this year, which was interesting. It was very, very surprising, and no YouTube. So they really
know someone.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was just so. Like I said, I did go back, and I'm like, I could have swore they've put LinkedIn on here before. Wow, that didn't want to come out right. But they didn't have it this year. So unfortunately, we can't answer that. I'm sure somebody will have a report that comes out. It's just not available at this time. So I would say, if you're going to be looking at platform presence and engagement, especially for commercial real estate brokers, LinkedIn is probably still your best bet, even though this report doesn't talk about it. Facebook community groups, I would say, would be a great place for you to get involved so people start to learn about you, but you're not going to be doing sales. Now, this is time consuming for those Facebook community groups as you build up your presence. It's more of answering those questions that people have. Or so say you do warehouse in Denver, thinking of Aviva, right? You could go into community groups in there and talk about like the spaces that are available, what's happening, but you're not doing a sales pitch, right? You're just saying like, hey, if you were looking at moving your business into one of the warehouses here in this area, letting you know that on market right now, there are currently so many spaces and we have so many businesses that are interested in getting into those spaces. That's providing value. Maybe there's somebody in that market that was like, oh man, I need to expand my business. And I had no idea that it was so limited.
Sorry. I'm looking like who can I talk to at Sprout? Sorry.
So engagement is greater than broadcast. Inbound engagements are up 20% across industries. So that's good news. So if you are getting people interacting with your content, you are in good company. If you're not getting people interacting with your content, you're in good company. As I've said before, I've repeated many times, 70% of LinkedIn posts do not get any type of engagement at all. How do you increase engagement across platforms, regardless of where you're at. Engage, engage, engage. We say it over and over again. If you want your For You page to be better, engage, engage, engage. What do we mean? You need to start commenting on other people's posts. You need to actually start conversations and go through people's content and then actively engage on it, right? When you start actively engaging on those posts, the platforms recognize that you are being active. They start sharing your content to a wider audience. People start looking at your content because, oh, this person just engaged with me. Let me go to their page. Let me go see what they're about, right? That's how you grow organically on these platforms. That's how you grow your audience. It's really all about how you use the platform in a way that creates community around your comments.
And I think,
yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No.
I think too, again, like I know why people are like this because I am too, but it's just like, they're like, we're really, I feel like a lot of the time, like trying to play to the algorithm, right? Like we're trying to figure out, how can I work this? How can I play this? How can I hack this? And Marcy,
Yes.
I really want to encourage people to think about, instead of like, how am I going to hack this and like make this work for me? Like, as opposed to thinking about that, like think about how you would actually approach a relationship. Like, you don't just open up your brokerage and get your license or just like whatever and like get a phone line and wait for it to ring. You don't just walk into a networking happy hour and stand there and like, unless you're a certain person, and like what many of them are in this community, people aren't going to just like walk up to you, like I probably would. I'll be like, hey, what's your deal? But you know what I mean? And so it's like the same. I want people to start looking for and thinking about the actions that they take in their real lives, in their real approaches to how they meet people and win business, and find the corollaries and the same methods that are available to them to do the same things on these platforms.
I think we've said it before, you're not going to walk into a networking event with a bullhorn, right? Stop treating I know. Actually, as I said it, I was like, we probably would. Like, hey, bitches, guess who's here? But a lot of people treat social media like that, right? They treat it like a bullhorn, like it's a giant ass billboard. Hey, James Milner is joining us over on the gram. Good morning, James. But they treat it like a giant billboard, where imagine everybody in a networking event with a giant billboard over their head and everybody is smacking into each other because they can't move around, right? Like, that's not how social works, even though probably traditional sales says that it would work that way. Social media, it is a microphone. It's not a bullhorn, but it's a conversation. So if you're ignoring comments, if you're ignoring DMs, if you are ignoring what's happening on the platform, you're going to get lost. And of course, you're absolutely going to complain that social media doesn't work. No, it doesn't work because you're not working it, right?
All of them this morning. Well, I also too, it's like, if you think about, like, most people are using the apps like a billboard, right? Like 70% of people, 70% on posts on LinkedIn, like, aren't getting any engagement. You don't engage at all with a billboard. Like, you're driving down the highway, you see a billboard go by, you're like, oh, there's that injury lawyer's face, right? Again. And every state has the one. I want to do like I want to find them all and do like a. That is not the point. The point is that, and like, yes, it's a touch. Somebody sees your results post, somebody sees your ad, like somebody sees whatever, and they like scroll by it in the feed. Like, yeah, that's a touch. That's an impression. That's great. But that is not the juice of the platforms. So if they're wondering, like, so when people are posting and they're like, why is no one engaging? It's because it's not an invitation. It's like a sign plastered over their face, right? And again, that has value, but the real value of these apps is in the conversations.
It's in the engagement. It's in the community that you start building around yourself because you're actively engaging within the community that you're in, right? We talk about posting and ghosting. Don't post and ghost. Don't just post and then walk away. Because even though, yes, you've checked the mark, like, yes, you've that box has been checked, you did your social for the day. You all you did was you just posted to the void, right? Because you're not actively engaging. You're not starting a conversation. So what I would like to see is I would like people to engage more, think more about engaging and less about posting. I actually just had somebody ask me about getting on X. And I said the first thing you should do is you shouldn't even worry about posting content. Don't even worry about posting content on X. You need to build your For You page. And your For You page is going to be built by going and searching out, like, so I recommend, I'm like, go to Strip Mall Guy, go to Bob Knackle, go to like Moses Kagan, go to Chris Hatch, go to all these people that are actively engaging on the platform and go see who is following them and then start following those people, right?
Yep.
And start engaging in those conversations. That's your audience that you want. Those are the people that you want to get in front of.
Mm-hmm.
And when you start actively engaging on the platform, then your For You page gets built up in a way that you want. If only you see the political posts on your feed, that's because that's what you're engaging, and the algorithm is just showing you what it thinks you're most likely to engage with. It doesn't care what your personal preferences are. It is based off of your actions. When you get comments, how would you suggest we respond? A like, respond with a comment. Okay.
What app specifically? I mean,
Yes.
for all apps, but I would also like to know what app specifically, if you can.
Yeah. So it depends. There are people who are trying to manufacture commenting, and they're trying to manufacture it in a way. You've seen the bots that post, and you can tell it's a bot post or a bot response because all it does is it reiterates what was in the original post. Basically, it's almost like a too long didn't read version. And so it's not actual engagement, it's manufactured engagement. So if somebody makes a comment on your post, I generally go and respond. Especially within a couple hours of posting, and I'll check a post throughout the day to see if I have new comments. And then sometimes I'll go back through and maybe I missed one from a couple weeks and I'll still respond. Okay. So on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I always respond with a comment. I lie. I don't always respond with a comment. For the most part, I respond. I either tell them, thanks, or I'll read their response and then try to respond to let the person know that I have read your response, right? If somebody's being an ass, I just tell them, thank you so much.
Yeah, sometimes it depends. Yeah, it depends on the quality of the comment and really what the comment is for. The benefit of commenting in response to a comment, as opposed to just engaging with it and acknowledging it with a like, is that, again, it's continuing the conversation with someone. One, that's great. That's actually what you want. Like, that's pulling people closer into your inner circle of trust. And then the other thing, again, and I know I just made this whole lecture about not gaming the algorithm, but when you comment back, it shows the app that you are actually engaged, and the app wants more engagement. And so it will reward you by engaging, by, again, showing your content to more people. Except we're in this weird little time warp thing going on LinkedIn right now, where everyone's seeing posts from a month ago.
Yeah. There's something going on there that, like, it's so bizarre. It's like, what the heck is this? Like, I already saw this.
The other thing that we're seeing now on LinkedIn too is, and I don't think it's been rolled out to everyone. It was just rolled out onto mine, but it's been for a couple of weeks. But seeing the impressions that your comments have got on something, like I commented something on a post yesterday. I forget his name, but it was like one of the most remarkable posts of a deal story that I've seen in a while. And I like, I didn't really have. I didn't have a lot to say about it except congratulations, and this was a really good story. You know what I mean? And because that post did so well, my comment on that post, like, it showed me, oh yeah, like you got X, you got X amount more than your normal impressions on this because of that. So again, like there's, you can see that is very interesting for me because you can see that LinkedIn is specifically tracking those impressions. And that is information it's using to figure out who to show your content to. And again, like who you're getting in front of and why you matter.
Right. Absolutely. If you are like, I have slacked off on LinkedIn in the last week or so. I have content that's still going, but it's just, I haven't been paying attention. I haven't written a new piece of content. And so I know I need to get back on that because I actually do enjoy writing.
Whatever, you go live. I'm sorry, you go live every single morning. You go live every single morning. I don't like get out of here with this. Like I haven't written anything in 2 weeks.
Well, yeah, but I mean, to me,
live every single day.
You're true. This is true. We do. So what she's talking about is I do Cup of Joe with Corey and Mo, with Corey Zelnick of Zelnick and Company, at Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on Instagram. Instagram Live. We don't use StreamYard or anything like that. So
exclusive.
Yeah. It's exclusive. But it's Cup of Joe is social media, real estate, and other shit we feel like talking about. And so yeah, I guess technically I do create content every day. I just don't think about it in that respect.
You need to.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Because like I'm thinking of content as actually writing something of importance and value and sharing expertise, right?
Sorry, I was just laughing because I was like, are you talking dirty about yourself that the other stuff that you don't do is not
right? It's not
expert and value, and but I also again like it is all already there, and you're putting it out there. I don't know why I'm in a weird space right now.
It's fine. It's fine.
Box.
So if you guys want this Sprout social report, we can send you the link of where it's located. It's really, I took just the sections about real estate and that's what I looked at, but looking at all consumer behavior is good. In the too long didn't read version of Sprout social report is you should post less, engage more, and create human-centric original content. So thinking about that content, how are you going to showcase your team? How are you going to talk about your personal stories? And those are deal stories, talking about the deal that got away, talking about what is the process that you go through. And you're going to want to avoid, lifeless content that you're just checking a box to say that you posted on social. Danielle says content is really just visibility in all its forms. That is correct. Yes.
I want to sprinkle some little dust. I want to get like fairy dust I can sprinkle on the comments.
We need to have like a fairy dust sound.
Really nasty. I'm gonna get a soundboard. We need to get off.
Yes, we do. Okay, so are we back here on Tuesday? Are you back Tuesday or not?
Yeah.
Maybe. We'll talk.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, everybody. If you want the Sprout social report, we can send you the link. And have a great day and a fantastic weekend. And if you need us at all, Fly and I are available on all the socials. And don't forget, we have the Social Mastery VIP school group where we are teaching you about marketing, social media, you name it. Everything, and the kitchen sink.
I wanted when you were like, I'm going to walk out, my weed whacker is behind me. You were like, when I'm going to walk out Bob for a second, I want a little like Bob face, and then I can like do the goodbye.
All right, everybody. All right, Marcy, are we following you? We should be. We are following you. I'm pretty sure we are. Yeah. Okay. All right, everybody. Have a great. Well, I'll send you guys the link. Actually, what I'll do is I'll put the link in. I'll put the link in this post. I won't post in Ghost, I promise. James, I saw your comment. Yes, I'll send it to you too. All right, everybody. Have a good day. Bye.